Hey everybody, welcome back to Kelly's Creations. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're putting the room together. Last week's video was miniatures for beginners, and it was all to make this cluttered semi-hoarder room. So I started with this box. It actually was a Mother's Day present. This box was so cool. I knew when I saw the box I was going to be using it for the room. So I took off the outer shell of the box, and I didn't want to paint the bottom, so I used this black cardstock and put that on the bottom of this to cover it up. I am going to paint the rest of the box black. I just wanted to be able to work, and I didn't want to wait for the bottom to dry, so this was an easy fix. So I came in, I gave the box a black, kind of just one coat of black. Then I came in and mixed some plaster from Waverly and some baking soda together to get me like a textured paint. And I did that to the sides of the box. I wanted kind of like a stucco look, and I achieved that mixing the baking soda and the paint, and just dabbed it on. That way you had a textured look for the outside of the room. That's all I'm going to be doing to the outside. You could take this further, put windows, doors, whatever you wanted. I wanted to focus more on the inside. Now, items in this video that I made, you're going to have to push stop, go back to last week's video, because that's the video I showed how I made the items for this room. Off of Temu, I don't even know what this is. It's like a thin paper, but it was amazing, vintage, old aesthetic, so it would be perfect for the wallpaper. Plus it was so easy to use. Since it's so thin, it worked so perfect with framing, cutting, sticking it down with Mod Podge to get that vintage wallpaper look. So the theme I'm kind of going for in this room is like it's an abandoned like 70s era, old shag carpet, flowered dingy wallpaper. You know, this room just was a catch-all for everything, was never updated. Semi almost hoarder room. Yeah, I wanted a room where I could just put everything but the kitchen sink in it and just have fun. So that's where I'm going with this. So I used Mod Podge and I put this paper down on the walls. What's great about doing this kind of room is if the paper ripped or anything, it didn't matter. You were going for old, left behind, not taken care of wallpaper. So this towel, and I think it might be like a drying chamois from Dollar Tree, was the perfect way to make shag carpet. And I had fun with this. I cut down this towel to size, and it already had that fluffy feel to it. So I knew this would make the perfect shag carpet, because every home in the 70s pretty much had this shag carpet. I went with green, as you're going to see in a few minutes, just because I remember growing up, like everything was either green or like orange. So I thought green shag carpet was the way to go for this. I used hot glue to glue down my rug or carpet, and just kind of used my fingers and pushed it in the corners. It didn't have to be perfect, because once we paint it green, you're not going to see any of the imperfections. This paint is from Hobby Lobby. It's 50 cents a bottle. It was an olive green color. I put a lot of paint because I knew this towel was going to soak it up. So I just kind of dabbed along. I wanted some areas to look like it was still fluffy, but some areas to look like it was just worn and flat. Anybody who's familiar with dingy shag carpet knows you always had those flat areas where furniture was and all that. So I wanted that look of, see, you can see some of it's fluffy, some of it's matted down. Perfect, exactly how I had it pictured in my head. These mini lights from Temu are amazing because it has just a little box, little tiny battery box, and the string is pretty long. So in last week's video, I made this like hut switch out of Dollar Tree furniture, and I took this little miniature light. It actually has 3 settings. I think you get a pack of 10. Really reasonable if you want to check out it on Temu. I don't have a link for it. I'm not affiliated with Temu, but type in mini lights and it'll pop up. I glued it down underneath the cabinet, and then I worked my way up. As you can see, there's 3 different, it's like super fast flickering, slower flickering, and then just solid light. And that's what I kept it on, because I don't want anybody to have to look at those flickers. It's pretty fast flicker in there. I used hot glue and I glued this to the side of the room. Now I'm just going to take my string lights and I'm going to go all the way around the top of the room, putting dabs of hot glue as I go to hold it in place. This room's going to have so much on the walls. I wasn't worried about the glue showing. So what was really cool, and it just was a happy accident, was this string of lights fit perfectly in the box. It made it all the way around, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. Sometimes things just work out the way they should. It's always good. So like I said, I used my little silicone tool from Dollar Tree. I put dabs in the corner and make sure that it's all stuck down, and I worked my way around. And look at that, voila, it was perfect. Oh my goodness. Now I do come back in and I put glue on my tool. This is such an easy way to just get a little dollop of glue and stick it to where you want. Put glue on your silicone tool and then put it on where you want glued. And this worked out perfect for the walls because I didn't want glue running down the sides. And I was afraid if I used my glue gun and tried to do that, it would kind of go down the sides. So this actually worked out really good. So now we're going to start decorating. I made this garbage can out of the lid from a hairspray bottle last week. I'm going to put that down, and I'm just going to start filling the room. I'm filling it outer edges first. So I'm going all around the perimeter of the room. Then I will add what I want to the middle. So I'm gluing down these newspapers, bundles, just randomly switching them long, short, gluing them on top of each other until I got the height I want. Then I'm going to come back in with more bundles. All of the books, the newspapers, the notepads, everything was in last week's video. If you want to see how to make these, I used one book and created all of these. So basically it's stacking and layering, and I do flip it around. I'm putting books on that top shelf. I wish I could give you guys a better camera view, like from the inside decorating. I have to do it overhead. I don't know how to do it any other way. So you're kind of seeing me adding things, I try to zoom in closer for you. I'm sorry about that. I am going to try to figure out a way to film inside while I'm doing it. I made scrolls. I'm adding those, and we'll just sit back and listen to a little bit of music, and I'll pop back in a few minutes. So in last week's video, I took a Dollar Tree dollhouse dresser and cut it in half to make 2 tables that would fit in this room. What I loved about this is that's the top of the dresser. The first one I glued down, that would be the bottom. But when you flip it around, you get this awesome scalloped edge, and you also get a cubby on the top of the dresser, and that's perfect to put books in, which you will see. I made this little wooden stool. I made this little wooden chair. That's the ottoman I made last week. And I'm gonna, like I said, go around the outside of the room first, adding. And I'll pop back on in a minute when I see something to talk about. Oh, there's my ashtray. Yeah, I know it's backwards, but I love that ashtray. Okay, now I'm popping off. I'll be back in a minute. There's the bottom of the dresser. Like I said earlier, it fits all of these little books I made last week so well. It was like the perfect size, the perfect little cubby to fit these books in. And what a bang for your buck when you can take a piece of dollhouse furniture and make two pieces out of it. I added more books to my hutch. I added some black birds to mimic like bookends. And yeah, I just kept having fun adding. It was so much fun. I love, sometimes when I do miniatures, I've said this in videos before, I just want to keep going, but there has to be a point where you stop. But when you make a room like this, sky's the limit. You can keep adding. I found a bag of wine corks at Goodwill. It had a ton of wine corks in there. And these are perfect for little wooden, I don't know what you would call them, just little wooden platters, I guess. So I put that down on the stool and I had made sunny side up eggs. Because that, I guess, is the person's little area they would sit to have breakfast. And I put my bacon down. I got Starbucks cups off of Temu that were super cute that I'll show you in a second. And yeah, we're just going to keep adding. So I saved the paper from these chocolates my husband had because I knew I was doing this room. And I took a little piece of a garbage bag and I kind of wadded it up and put it by my garbage can to make it look like a miniature garbage that hadn't been taken out yet. I know in a hoarder room style, there would probably be a lot more garbage bags. I didn't want that. I wanted more items than like just random trash around. So I did put one garbage bag in, but I didn't like overload this room with them. And I kept the as you can see to the right, there's like a ball of the candy wrappers because I am going to be wadding those up and putting those randomly around the room just as a little bit of trash around the room. But I didn't want the whole room to just be filled with that. So I got these wacky packages from Big Lots, and I thought it was miniature food. I should have known because it said wacky package on it. It's like funny food. It's taking name brands and tweaking them and putting funny names on them and stuff like that, which I can't really use, but in this room I was able to utilize some of those to make, I wrapped them in brown paper to make delivery packages, and I took a couple of them, like the Gushers and the White Castle burgers, because that was something that you would look at it and kind of know what it was. Even though it had a wacky name on it, you can't really see it. So I did use that to decorate in the room as well. Last week I showed you that Dollar Tree sells these color form games. You get Monopoly, Battleship, Candyland, etc. And I had cut up a few of the Monopoly pieces because I knew I wanted like a game aspect in this room too. So I cut some of those up and I put some dice there. On the wall I added like a bingo picture. All the stuff I'm adding on the wall right now, I know you can't see, but I am going to do a close-up at the end of this video of everything on the walls, everything that with me showing you, me just adding it, you're not actually being able to see some of it. You will see it at the end. Those are the Starbucks coffee cups I got from Temu. It actually came with a holder too. So cute. It was like $1.70, something like that. Really affordable. So I put a couple of those. There's one by the eggs. There's one on the table. And I put a little bitty scissors on the notepad. Now, I added a fan. You're going to see me add a phone and record player. All of that I got in a miniature bundle from Amazon. And I do have that link. If you go to my Amazon store, that link is in the description, and click on the miniature tab in my store, and you'll see that bag full of these miniatures. So when you see the clock on the wall, the fan, record player, iron, you'll be able to tell when I show you at the end. All of those came in one bundle, and they're so vintage and cute. So check that out if you would like. So earlier I cut a piece off of this wine cork. The rest of it I'm going to be gluing down to the center and taking a wood round and putting it on top of it to make a table. That's why I started with decorating the outside first. Now the center is going to be a table, and I have like random items from like the Tim Holtz collection, little pieces of random things like from flowers to books to movie tickets to it all comes. I think I got that from Hobby Lobby, and I also got a pack from Amazon, so that might be in my Amazon store as well. Letters, and I just kept loading up the table and around the table with these items. So if you're enjoying my video, leave me a comment below. Commenting, liking, sharing, it helps my channel so much. If you really like it, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for future notifications, and I would love to have you join our family. We're a good group of people. Now, I took some brown wax and I kind of went over random items in the room just to make them look little older, little worn, a little dirty. And I went over a lot of the newspapers and the sides of the newspapers. You saw me put this little black kind of what would I lost my train of thought. It's underneath the ashtray that I made last week to look like ashes fell on the floor. So that's what that was. I also put some of this brown wax on the floor to make dirty spots on the carpet. And that worked out really well. Right here you can see me putting a little dirt on the carpet. There was a spill. So yeah, this room was like so much fun to make. I could make like 10 more of these rooms because I would love to make like a hoarder kitchen or a bedroom. Like these were fun because I love throwing everything into these miniatures. And look at that. I'm going to give you a close-up view now. Let's enter the room. This room gives me anxiety. I'm sure if you're a neat freak, this would give you anxiety too. But I think it turned out so cute. Amazing. I love it. I probably could have added more. Like I said before, if you like what you saw, please leave me a comment below. And if you want to join our family, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, like this video, do all those things that puts this video out there for other people to see. I'm going to let you look at this room, and I will be back next Tuesday with a brand new video. I love you all. Thank you for your love and support, and I hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful week. Bye, y'all.